Hey guys, it's Odaiba here, and it's only been a couple of hours since the previous videos I published, but already I have to make a small correction to one of the slides that appear in the previous video. It's the slide that you're looking at on the screen right now. So the reason for this correction is because I didn't realize that they had already published the summon banner details for the 3rd anniversary. And for those of you who are joining us and watching this video without having an idea what this slide is all about, let me show you. So basically, a few hours ago, I published a video that detailed in full the process of how you would go about doing the new dream enhancement and reincarnation system that's coming to World of Visions for the 3rd anniversary. So this is a system that's going to go live in a little more than a day, basically tomorrow, right? And of course I will be doing a live stream to oops, let's see if I can. Okay, I will be doing live stream tomorrow evening where I will check out this system as well as do a bunch of other pulls for Sephiroth and whatever else that makes sense for me to pull. But basically, if you don't know anything about dream enhancement or reincarnation, you might want to check out my previous video on this subject, which has the full details. But basically, the gist of it is that this system, right, after it's been implemented, when you unlock it, you gain a bunch of passives for your unit, and then additionally you have this new feature called reincarnation that can progressively add a bunch of permanent stats to the unit over a long period of time, and that looks something like this. This is after the first rotation, the first reincarnation. And overall, based on what some people are estimating, based on what some people are estimating, it seems like you would possibly need about 100 reincarnations before you can reach the maximum limit of this feature, which of course is something that players are not expected to do right at the beginning at all. But the reason why I'm bringing this up is because in the new 3rd anniversary banners, we actually realized that there are actually a couple of ways that people can get the new resources required for doing the dream enhancement and reincarnation features, and those are the antlers and the scrolls that you see on the screen. And basically, with each character, the moment you want to unlock the passives from them, you will need a single piece of antler, the item you see on the left. Whereas if you want to do reincarnations, each single reincarnation is, I think I can show it over here. It's probably somewhere around here. Okay, there we go. You need 20 of these scrolls, and you need them to be of the right rarity. Oops. Okay, right over here. And so basically, the number of times you can actually do the reincarnation, and remember we are looking at roughly 100 full reincarnations before you can actually max out all the bonus stats for a single unit. So you're going to need to stock up on these scrolls, right? And so with the correction, basically the thing that I need to highlight is that there are actually some paid ways that you can sort of speed up your accumulation of the scrolls. So the difference is, when I was watching the live stream, my impression was that you would only be able to get the antlers and scrolls in the shop through the regular, the weekly shops that allow you to purchase them for gold or visual. And I wasn't aware, or rather, I guess they didn't really specify or clarify on this, but as it turns out, there are actually paid packs as well, where you can buy the materials, but of course to a certain limit only. which we will take a look in just a bit. And then the other thing I needed to clarify is if you look on the right hand side for the scrolls, under the section that says summon bonus. So as it turns out, there are different banners, free vis banners and paid vis banners that actually give out these scrolls at different rates. So we're going to go and take a look at that in just a bit. That is right over here. If we go down to the banners for 3rd anniversary, it's this one over here. Okay, so first things first, before we even get into that, for 3rd anniversary, for JP at least, we are getting a 10 UR pool summon banner. And with this 10 UR pool, you are able to do it only one time, but you're able to retry it for a total of 20 chances to land whichever UR unit you're trying to get. And the bonus for this unit, or rather, sorry, the good thing about this banner is that Amethyst, the latest non-limited unit, is actually included in the banner itself. Now it does cost paid vis, 2000 paid vis, but because it is such a great deal and it includes Amethyst as well, I'm definitely going to go for it and see if I get lucky. So this is a really great deal for 3rd anniversary. So the not so great deal are these brand new type of banners that give you, so this is the paid version here. This right here is the paid version. So the paid version gives you 10 slots of 40 UR Mind Spears, and all of them are unit UR Mind Spears. And it's a 3-step summon, so meaning you can do this summon up to 3 times. And on each step, you actually get a different varying amounts of the UR reincarnation scrolls. So 40 for the first step, which is discounted at just 333 paid vis. And then for steps 2 and 3, costing 2000 paid vis per go, you get 120 reincarnation scrolls for step 2, as well as 160 reincarnation scrolls for step 3. Now, the key thing to note about this banner is that I didn't notice this at first, but this is actually for Mind Spears. It's actually not for shards. So meaning if you have like a certain unit that you're trying to build towards level 99, this banner is no help whatsoever, right? So it seems like the main intention for this banner is to allow spenders to supercharge their reincarnation progress by getting a bunch of scrolls, as well as by getting some extra excess Mind Spears, so that they can convert this into the generic rainbow Mind Spears that they can then use for reincarnation. So to be honest, I'm not sure if this is something I would want to pull on, but definitely I wanted to do the first step because it's super cheap. But other than that, these banners for the step 2 and 3 definitely seems like something that is not necessary for most players. But I do want you guys to note that for this paid banner, you can get an excess of 320 extra reincarnation scrolls that you can only get access to on day 1 if you are a spending player. Now, of course, there is also a free version of this banner, and that's the one right after this. So the free version of the Mind Spear banner will instead give you 5 slots of 40 UR unit Mind Spears each, as well as 5 slots of 25 UR Vision Card Shards. And you can do this, it's basically a 2-step summon that you can only do once. Similarly, with the paid one, it's a 3-step summon that you can only do once. So for the free version of this banner, it's actually looking pretty nifty if you're somebody like me who actually still needs a lot of vision card shards. And the way it works here is for step 1, you drop 2000 free vis, and you will get the 5 slots of UR unit Mind Spears, as well as 5 slots of vision card shards. And as a bonus, you get 20 reincarnation scrolls. And then for step 2, you get the same deal, except this time around the reincarnation scrolls has been increased to 60 of them. So all in all, if you drop 4000 free vis here, you get 80 reincarnation scrolls, which is basically 4 times. You can reincarnate a unit 4 times using the scrolls here. Versus the paid banner, you can, after you collect all of these, you can do it a total of 360 divided by 20, total of 16 times. So 16 times here for paid, for spenders, and then 4 times only for free spenders. Now that may seem like, you know, a pretty big unfair advantage, but honestly, you know, I've spoken to some JP players about this already, and it's actually not as big of a deal as you might think, because like I mentioned earlier, if I switch back to the other slides and turn this off, like I mentioned earlier, for the reincarnation feature, like if you want to like really, you know, go ham on a unit, you really need to do something like almost like 100 reincarnations to be able to get the maximum benefit, and it's going to take a while for players to even be able to have that many materials to, you know, dump into a single unit. And so basically the expectations from JP players is that, well, eventually they are going to give free-to-play players more resources to catch up to the spenders. But, you know, so for example, I've explained this in my other video as well. From December onwards, you will be able to use your friend medals and guild medals to trade for the scrolls that you need for reincarnation. And the only reason they are not letting people do it now for November is because they can't change the lineup for friend medal and guild medal until December 1, which is when they refresh it. So that's the only reason. And so with that in mind, everybody in JP, well, not everybody, but a lot of players in JP are actually looking at this and thinking, okay, it seems like you can get a lot of scrolls right away for spenders, but it kind of feels like a trap for them because, you know, in the first place, it's not going to give you that much of an advantage. And then even if you do decide to spend, well, then next month, if they give us like, you know, access to like 500 scrolls or well, actually that sounds like too much. Like even if they give us every month access to 100 or 200 scrolls that we can trade for, it's pretty easy to, you know, catch up eventually. And the key word, the operative word here being catch up eventually. So obviously for spenders there is some kind of advantage, but you know, as far as top end PvP is concerned, we're still not that worried about it. Now of course, I think on day 1 we will probably see some really high level PvP players who also happen to be giant whales at the game, and if they were to, you know, realize that hey, they can actually buy all these packs to give themselves a huge advantage, I will be sure to, if there ever comes a point where this becomes a problem, a real unfair advantage, I'll be sure to make a video about it to let you guys know. You know what, actually after the feature is released, we'll definitely take a look at how many reincarnations you really need to do in order to get a unit to a really competitive level, you know, at the highest competitive level possible in the game moving forward, right? And then for the rest of the banners, it's pretty typical. We have the standard Amethyst pickup banner and paid banners. I think this is paid. No, this is the free banner. So because she's a cost 100, she has the free Viz 3-step banner, which has a slight discount on the first step. And to be honest, the rest of the banners are not that noteworthy. And even for the FF7 Remake Integrate banners. So these are the banners I will definitely be pulling on during my live stream as well for Sephiroth. Even for these banners, it's nothing out of the blue. The only thing to note here is that because this time around for the collaboration, Sephiroth is a cost 100 unit, so there is no nice step banner for him. So there is instead a standard pickup banner that gives you, you know, 10% when you have the gauge fully max. For JP it's 10%, for global it's something else. And then we have the same 3-step free vis banner that gives you a little bit of a discount on the first step. Definitely I'll be pulling on this as well because I want the Sephiroth shards. And then the rest of it is pretty typical. You have the paid 5-step, you have a Mind Spear, or you have a Trap banner, which is a 5-pull banner with UR 1 slot guaranteed. I never pull on these because they are really bad deals. And then of course you have the 2000, is this free vis or paid vis? Okay, I think this is free vis, 2000 free vis, and you get 80 Mind Spears on top of a chance to pull Sephiroth. And the rest is pretty typical. You have the Vision card 5-step, which as you might note here doesn't actually give you any medals, so you can see why I need a lot of shards for my Vision cards. Again, we also have a paid vis banner for the 5-step paid vis banner for the Vision card. Super expensive. In global, we really have it much better, and really that's about it. Nothing else really. So for the most part, it's really the new type of summon banner that is really worth noting. And the other thing about the 3rd anniversary is, so I mentioned earlier that you can buy the new materials in the shop. And so with regards to that, I'm actually referring to this pack. So this page here is basically the notices for all the new stuff coming for the 3rd anniversary that is in the paid shop. As usual, the deals in JP are pretty horrible. We have 325 paid vis with 60 skip tickets and 15 pots for, well, they didn't mention the price, but I imagine it's probably not that great a deal. We have the special starter pack, which I pretty much never buy in JP because they are really poor value compared to the kind of deals we have in global. Hammer packs, and then you have the typical what do you call this, awakening pack, which gives you Broadstones and Blossoms. And do note that this pack is being sold with the equivalent of 2450 paid vis, right? So basically you buy this pack for, I don't know how much it is, but you get 2450 paid vis as well as these materials. But if you look at the pack containing the scrolls, look at the amount they're charging. I mean, they didn't write how much they are selling this pack for, but you know, it's kind of implied because you know this pack has 5000 paid vis in it, along with all the materials that you will need to do Dream Enhancement on a single unit and then reincarnate it for 3 times. So as you can see here, this is definitely the, I guess, the new whale tier paid pack that, you know, the heavy spenders will probably want to get to try and see how far they can go with reincarnation. And you can buy this a total of 3 times. So this 5000 paid vis pack in global is about $80 US. In JP it's actually a little bit more expensive. It's about $100 US, I think. But in that case, if we were to look at it from a global perspective, one attempt at this, or rather one purchase of this pack will run you $80 US, and if you really want to spend and buy all 3 packs, that's $240 US for 180 scrolls. And 180 scrolls will allow you to do reincarnation for 9 more times. So overall, I calculated everything. If you buy all 3 packs for this, and then you go and do the paid summons for, let's see, it's right over here. If you go ahead and do this paid summon all the way through, you get a total of 500 extra scrolls that free-to-play players, that non-spenders will not have access to. So what does 500 reincarnation scrolls buy you exactly? Well, it, if I can, I think it is on this slide here. Well, it buys you basically 25 reincarnation attempts. Oh, actually it's on the other slide. It buys you 25 reincarnation attempts. 500 divided by 20. And speaking of 25 reincarnation attempts, as it turns out, they did provide an example of how much stats that would look like on a character. And I'm referring, of course, to this screenshot, the one screenshot that has been used for estimation by everybody so far. So if we were to look at MR Mons, this is a screenshot showing, you know, his progress after 25 reincarnations. And only, you know, even with 25 reincarnations, he's only getting about 1,000 or so extra HP. And the rest of the figures don't really look that impressive either. It doesn't seem to fundamentally make him that much more impressive as a unit. Plus 7 critical evasion is pretty much nothing. I mean, it's not nothing, but it's not significant enough to change you know, your usage of the character, right? So really, for this system to even make sense, to make units super powerful, you really have to go ahead and, you know, stack up all your scrolls until you get to the point where you can do probably a lot of reincarnations to get close to the maximum limits for your favorite unit. And that's why I say, you know, this system is really about long-term growth. I'm looking at the packs, I'm looking at how much spending other players can do in order to get an early advantage, and I'm totally not worried at all, because I really feel that over time it's not going to disadvantage me as a light spender in JP, as someone who's playing in top level PvP, in top level guild battle. So yeah, that's my take on it for now. And of course, if we see later on, maybe sometime early next week, if it turns out that people can actually, you know, spend a lot to get a huge advantage in this system, then for sure I'll let you guys know. And then, I don't know, maybe we can try and lobby, you know, Gumi in global and get Hiroki involved to try and, you know, make sure this sort of thing doesn't really happen in global. I don't know if, you know, anything we do would actually matter, but hey, at least we can try, right? So that's all I want to talk about in this video. Now in my next video, I'm going to cover all the new stuff in the 3rd anniversary. I know some of you guys who watch my videos have been asking for it, and especially I want to talk about the new units coming out, Sephiroth and Amethyst. There are some things about Sephiroth and Amethyst that I don't think anybody has talked about yet that will really put them over the top. So that's going to be my next video before the live stream, and of course roughly 24 hours or so from the time that I publish this video, I am of course going to be doing a live stream for the 3rd anniversary content patch. So stay tuned for that, and I hope to see you guys in the next video.